It's time for playoffs. HGC Korea is brought to you here by OGN and myself, Wolf, and G-Clef. We have our first day of a 3-day playoff gauntlet to find our third team that's going to BlizzCon.
And there will be only one best of 5, starting with MVP Miracle versus BlossoM, and tomorrow versus Mighty, and the last day versus Tempest. So we'll have one best of 5 each for every day, but we are on to a different patch. It's a still similar patch, but Kel'Thuzad balanced patch with lots of heroes, some mini changes, not too many, I would say. But I would say the Morales got buffed. That's insane.
Yeah, and in Korea here, she has one of the highest pick rates since the patch came out. So yeah, the changes to Kel'Thuzad as well make him a less likely pick, even though we only seen him a few times so far here in Korea. We do have to just take a moment to talk about my hairstyle today. I'm sorry to everybody. I hope I hope I don't offend anybody with my Super Saiyan Wolf hairstyle today. As I just happen to see it out of the corner of my eye on my preview monitor. You know, it has to be said that the people who do my hair don't realize that we put headsets on our heads.
Yeah.
Because the Korean commentators do not. But anyway, yeah, you know, the patch changes will make somewhat of an impact, but I think mostly on Kel'Thuzad. Morales was already highly picked, so with the buffs that you mentioned, I think that will not change. She'll still be very much, almost certainly, locked to that ban slot.
I think we'll just see Morales, Ariel just stuck on that top, and we do hear music. Maybe there's an event going on. We do not know.
It's just really exciting because the music is playing and just starting to get us hyped up because playoffs are starting soon.
Yeah, that's right.
So just to put this out there for you guys, as G-Clef just mentioned, every day will be played in a best of 5. So it's going to just be the same as regular season, except there's a lot on the line. It's the first time and the last time, of course, these teams will go through elimination matches where the loser will actually be eliminated, will not be playing until HGC next year. On top of that, every team that's playing today, tomorrow, and on Sunday are all teams that have already qualified for the Pro League next season. So these teams will not get relegated to the Crucible, for example. Here's our schedule, of course.
Yep, as we mentioned, round 1, BlossoM versus MVP Miracle. That's today. And tomorrow we'll have round 2. The winner of today versus Mighty, and the winner of that match advances to round 3 versus Tempest, and winner will go to HGC Finals, as aka BlizzCon.
That's why that tiebreaker match was so important. Tempest getting pretty stomped in that as well. We'll have to win their next best of 5. So on one way you could think of it, they have another chance here to directly qualify for BlizzCon. Very likely they will face Mighty, but we will see, as upsets do happen in these playoffs. We could have the first time one of these 3 teams, Mighty, BlossoM, and Miracle, actually, it could be one of their first times to travel internationally this year. Of course, Miracle participating in the Gold Club World Championship. It would be their first international event. But tonight, a lot of people ask the question, who is the favorite here? And it's a tough one to answer, to be honest,
It is a tough one. Back in Week 5, BlossoM dominated with a 3-1 against MVP Miracle. They used lots of globals to rotate around the map, get the EXP advantage, and they just won the series just like that. Of course, it was not a 3-0, but in Week 7, Miracle came back and they took it 3-0. So they are neck and neck here.
Indeed. And BlossoM, this team has come so far. Last season, unable to even make playoffs. This season, they got top 5, in fact, passing Miracle. I was going to say top 6, but suddenly silence. All right, so let's start this hype over. All right, BlossoM. They struggled last season. They were unable to make it into the playoffs, but this time they made top 6, or should I say top 5. Now that we've repeated this, there's somewhat of a rivalry between these two teams in the sense that they've always been vying for that 5th place spot. And BlossoM, with that win, as you mentioned, in Week 5, solidified their advantage here. They will, you know, take that 5th place spot. So they come in here as the higher seeded team against Miracle. Their play style a little bit varied. I'd say they're probably the least likely to play standard of all the teams we will have playing through this gauntlet. So look for unusual drafts here, sometimes odd map picks.
Odd map picks, they actually tend to focus a lot on to the double support. Just in Kels was out patch with the 2 matches. Out of the 6 games, they played 6 double support. If we go back 4 matches, out of 13, they played 12 double support. And that last one, was with an Avatar, so technically 13 out of 13 double support games. So
yeah.
I'm expecting to see that continue as we have the playoff today. Maybe after watching what L5 can do against the double support, maybe it's time for a change. I think that shifting will come in time.
Yeah, we talked to Dudu actually a little bit before the broadcast as well. Seems like practice and training is going well for this team. They're preparing a lot, obviously, for this match. They should be, because that BlizzCon ticket is what any HGC team wants, the most prestigious Heroes tournament in the world, and that is where you want to go. This team, MVP Miracle, they need this win so badly. It's been a long time since they've looked dominant, since their 2nd place, the Gold Club World Championship. That was their best result. They never went to a Super League Finals, only making top 4 in Season 3. Did not qualify for BlizzCon last year, and it would be an incredible story, an incredible run if this team could do it through the gauntlet, the 6th place team, make it all the way to top 3. It would be an incredible story. Will it happen? It has to start here. This is going to be their easiest opponent if they can't do it here. This team does not deserve a BlizzCon spot.
And the recent one, their match against the RRR, has been a weak one. Of course, it went all the way to the full series. They almost lost the series. We also told you guys why this team was struggling so much. They had this early snowball, but they just could not finish the game. And a lot of the other teams, knowing that MVP Miracle is known as a 10-minute team in Korea, as after 10 minutes they start to fall apart. They can't sometimes follow the rotation. They can't really decide what to do right after that. So if they continue showing that tonight, I think BlossoM will actually take the series.
I think that you are certainly correct. I think that the play of Miracle needs to improve in the mid to late game, and I also do think that the drafting needs to be a little bit less reckless at times, because sometimes they draft themselves into a corner. See the last win here for Tommy on the Genji. I feel like that is a role that suits him well. He has been playing ranged assassins that he carries with. The team has changed their positions quite a bit, so something to look out for is we don't know exactly who will be playing what. Officially, Sniper is listed as the tank player tonight, so might see some Sniper material. We'll have to wait and see. Our first... Oh, this is just the team records between each other. I thought we were going to go into Battleground. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
So here are the records. Of course, BlossoM winning Part 1 with a 3-1. In Part 2, Miracle did take the 3-0. So they're tied 1-1. And historically this year, it's a 4-3 split. So very close, very difficult to predict who's in better form right now, given MVP Miracle's failings, as you mentioned, in Part 2, dropping down to 6th place.
I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of hyper carries they like to focus on. BlossoM even sometimes bringing Zarya to power up their Lunara, sometimes Vala, even Tracer sometimes. But when they had Zarya, I believe their win rate went up by 10% or higher compared to when they did not have a Zarya with the double support. So that's going to come in handy. Of course, No Chat will very likely to be playing on Zarya. But once that happens, Miracle also can have their Dami hyper carry. It will be interesting to see what they can pull up here.
Yeah. Here are most picked heroes per player in Phase 2. So Gondar on the Stitches, his most picked, 7-5, of course. That's a big pick for this team. We talked about unusual picks. Dudu, of course, on the Genji. You're going to see a lot of DPSs with that as their most picked. Crazy Moving's Old Flare of Li Ming will probably not see play tonight. But Judy on the Muradin, Sniper on the Tyrael. These are heroes we have to look out for Miracle. Jaehyun's Rhaegar, very solid. His Malfurion as well. And Mora, he's played a lot of Tastar, the best win rate on that one. We'll just kind of push that one under the rug for a bit, since he did play against very strong teams. No Chat's highest played hero being the Uther is actually quite interesting, considering before this he was not a support player. And now he's switched roles. He's done quite well with it.
Yeah, for the time being, because he was the one practicing Uther for the team since Uther's rework. So I think that's showing in numbers, as he has played it 11 times already. And we're jumping right into the map as BlossoM's favorite, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Both StarCraft bans open. This is a weird Map ban for sure.
BlossoM banned Infernal Shrines, and Miracle banned Towers of Doom. So that's going to be the map bans for this one. So quite an odd one to see.
For Miracle, they oftentimes, and if you guys remember when they lost against BlossoM, basically it started from the rotation. When Miracle could not even start their own, the first 10-minute snowball, they could not just catch up to the macro, and that's how the game went. That's exactly why they will ban Towers of Doom, because I think they're saying that macro is not our best one. But of course, Hello, with their experience, they can catch that up. But Towers of Doom is their biggest problem for sure.
Oh, certainly. Towers of Doom is a map that always goes late game as well, so that's that extra factor we have to keep in mind. So it is going to be blue side BlossoM, red side Miracle for this best of 5. And we're going to start it off on Tomb. First ban will go to, I believe it was Miracle. Yes. So Miracle chose first ban. Sorry, BlossoM chose the map instead of choosing first ban, since they had the higher seed.
Let's see how they want to go. Genji taking out Dutu's Genji potential at the same time with crazy mobility on this map.
We knew that given both DPS players on the team had Genji as their highest picked and highest prioritized hero, that was going to go early. And it looks like not too much has changed on this new patch already in terms of Tracer and Tassadar that will be picked up immediately.
They had a week to prepare, and there are some changes, but not too many. I would say the biggest one that's in the meta, maybe Cassia. Cassia got a slight buff to the W bonus damage and the auto attack. Brightwing got some buff, and Thrall may be an option for BlossoM, as Wiz love to play Thrall on this map especially. Thrall did get some HP buff.
Arthas drafted very early here with the Malthael. So Arthas likely to be the solo laner here, although it is Tomb of the Spider Queen, so that doesn't mean as much. Considering the lanes were so close, they might as well be on top of each other. Actually, with Arthas and Malthael, that's quite an unusual pairing. That leads towards a almost tank Arthas, so maybe that's when he's Sniper's hero in this game for Miracle. We're waiting for supports to come out, since BlossoM has already chosen one. We will just see this 4 support ban, it looks like. Uther probably into the Rhaegar. Very common. Could be a Karzi ban as well, because he pairs very well with Tracer, given that he will gain her mobility in terms of dashing. So, Uther is the safe ban, the obvious one, so you can prevent Malthael from doing tons of damage. Miracle may ban the Tyrael as a follow-up, just simply because that is one of the strongest counters to Malthael's Tormented Souls.
And let's see, Tyrael, or they also have, I think they also have to think about Garrosh. Of course, BlossoM did play it several times, and oftentimes on this map as a solo tank, so we'll ban Garrosh instead. I thought there were lots of choices, like Zarya, Tyrael, which could be a huge counter against what they have in their hands for Miracle. And I think Garrosh was not the highest percentage of coming out from BlossoM for today, because Gondar, of course, his play was awesome, but he still has Stitches. Even ETC is still open, which is a great option to have it with the Tracer instead of on the other side. ETC
is an incredible pick here. I think they would be silly not to take it. It gives them so much early gank pressure with Tracer's Pulse Bombs, so it's very simple, right? You power slide someone, they become the easiest Pulse Bomb target of all time. You nearly kill them with the Pulse, then the Face Melt comes through, and then you get the follow-up kill there. On this map, ETC is so strong. Sonya will be chosen first. That will be the solo laner, and Rhaegar coming in. So Gondar will save his pick for Flex to see what Miracle is going to bring to the table first. Probably to see if they bring a strong interrupt in, because that might make him less likely to pick it.
This is a different way of drafting for BlossoM. Of course, they did this before, but not too many times. They usually focused on Gondar and let him be on his comfortable hero like ETC or Stitches.
Look at that Sonya win rate. It's been a long time. Glad to have her back.
Out of 20, I believe around 10 belongs to L5. so that's insane. If you take L5 out, it actually has a poor win rate, but because of Jungha, Korean Sonya is just dominating the meta right now.
Oh, certainly. So, Miracle has to make the choices as to what their supports will be. If it's not going to be double support, they will need another tank, you would think. Malthael can do a lot of damage. It's going to be Karazim Brightwing.
Yep, Brightwing did get her trait range
The radius,
+1, yeah.
Very strong.
With the shooting miss 6 to 7, and also blink kill cooldown went down by 1 second. I don't think we'll see. I think we'll actually see Emerald win more likely.
Yeah, very likely with this comp because you can force the enemy heroes into a choke point where the Tormented Souls will do really well. Blink heal is really cool in this situation because you can blink to 2 hyper-mobile heroes with the Genji and the Karazim, so you're basically able to move as they do. You kind of gain the same movement that way, so you can jump into a really good polymorph or an arcane flare or something like that to try to kill somebody to get that extra damage through. But yeah, I think that very likely will be the Emerald win because of the Malthael pick. So it is like solo tank Arthas, which is again quite rare in Korea.
But they do have double support, so they can also heal themselves.
Yep.
It's fine.
All right.
Rhaegar.
It's gonna be Johanna here over the ETC.
Let's see how many times Gondar actually played on Johanna. Twice only.
Only twice.
And 0% win rate on Johanna for now. But for the map, has the wave clear, can actually provide decent CC also. So I like the pick itself, but we don't know how well Gondar is going to be on Johanna here.
Yeah. Interesting choice. We'll talk about it more as we get into game. 8 games of ETC versus just the 2 of Johanna for this player. Johanna seeping into the meta in the last few weeks here in Korea. We're going into day 1 of playoffs, guys. BlossoM versus Miracle. Game number 1 is on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So join us for this exciting best of 5. Let's jump into it. Wiz on Sonya, Gondar on Johanna, Mora on Rhaegar, Dudu on Tracer, No Chat on Tastar. That is BlossoM here for game number 1.
And on the other side, MVP Miracle, Judy on Malthael, Dami on Genji, Jaehyun on Brightwing, C-Moving on Karazim, and Sniper on Arthas. Crazy moving on Karazim. Now that's a change. He changed into Flex for tonight. And
That's right.
I think that's the reason why he really wants to be the Flex.
So some interesting other picks we could have had, right? The ETC, which makes ganks a lot stronger in the early game. Sure, Johanna can, with her Condemn, allow you to get a pick once you build that Pulse Bomb, but ETC is a lot easier to make that happen with. There also was the Tyrael pick that was not banned. Remember, it was Garrosh banned instead, and they did not take that to counter the Malthael Tormented Souls. So as I see it now, the strengths of Johanna are twofold. The wave clear that she provides, which is obviously quite strong, and the blinds, which she'll provide, which will not be as useful because Genji, remember, is mostly, most of his damage comes through ability-based attacks. His sure can sure they poke, but that's not where most of his damage comes from. Malthael needs to be able to hit targets in order to apply Reaper's Mark, but again, mostly will be applying that through his E and through his Tormented Souls in team fights. So the blind I feel here is strong against Karazim and Karazim alone. You're not really mitigating that much damage anywhere else.
I think Karazim also does a ton of damage, and the reason behind Brightwing here, I think without watching BlossoM's pick, I think they were trying to go for Lucio a lot more because we do see a lot more Lucio, especially from both MVP teams on this battleground. When you have the sound barrier, it's really effective in this meta, but the reason for Brightwing is for the poly, often against the Tracer, and it has worked in history in Korea especially very, very well when you're trying to get the Tracer and not blink. If you can burst down that small chunk of HP, it's pretty easy. So having that poly, I think it was the reason why they picked Brightwing on the small map.
Oh, certainly. So, I mean, the really cool thing about the... Oh, hold that thought. Okay, just going to see a polymorph gank attempt here fail. Did actually get a good trade here in lane, though. We'll force this into the cannon towers. The cool thing about something like this is you can prepare a counter that you think is strong against the Tracer that you know your opponents are going to pick, then pick it late in the draft, so BlossoM doesn't have that much time to respond to it. And this is clearly practiced by Miracle over the last week on the, what was then live patch before the Ana patch. So, cool kind of adaptation here. We're seeing the dash build coming out from Genji.
And it is untouchable for Tracer.
Yes.
And they do have double support, but also has Sonya, in which that means Sonya may need to get that ancestral healing in the front line when Wiz dives in. So Dudu needs to be on top of his movement and positioning for himself.
Will be focus attack for Sonya as well, so a little bit of extra damage coming in all around at level 4 for BlossoM. So this has been a very passive early game, to be honest. I feel like it would have been very different had we had ETC in the mix for BlossoM, but it's actually them who are avoiding polymorph gank attempts coming out from Miracle with the phase shifts coming through. They're kind of playing on the defensive right now. Okay, we're going to see a dash through here, but it's not going to amount to anything. The Johanna allows them to win the wave clear, but they need to be careful when they do clear like this, because obviously they could get collapsed on.
And BlossoM does have it now, so they're slowly trying to turn in one by one. Arthur's is sneaking at the bottom one. And Miracle can also do the same as they have enough now. This bottom lane actually missing a spear there.
Ooh, and playoffs on TV. Feels bad. Let's try to forget about that one.
The bottom lane with Sonya, Martel actually has a decent chance of winning. I think the spear... Hold on to the thought as we have a team fight poly.
Okay, well, polymorph is going to be a big factor here. Is again going to be a win for BlossoM this time on the defensive trade. Judy is going to get, dodges the hook. That wasn't Wiz's fault this time. That was a sync dodge. But the Web Weavers get turned in here after that exchange. The other thing we didn't talk about with Johanna too is, in this case, wasn't the reason why they got turned in, but the shield glare is something that you can use to deny turn-ins, which is actually quite nice at really safe range. So this is a very good opportunity for BlossoM to push into a nice advantage here to be able to get level 10 first. If they can grab a fort, it basically 100% guarantees them that first level 10. Uh-oh.
Sometimes those missile pulse bomb, crazy moving dashes away.
That was a good dash there. Predicting the pulse bomb would come through. That could have been a pick, certainly, had the pulse bomb gone off there.
Maybe it could have been very, very close as Sniper is landing a lot of the roots, but Tracer has to be careful. You saw how much damage goes on to Tracer within that time.
All right.
Here comes the Brightwing.
Brightwing was clearing all the time up at top, just coming to look for a pick here. Just the potential threat of polymorph alone is enough to chase them away. Judy will finally clear the bottom Web Weaver. At this moment in time, Miracle doesn't even have, you know, any sort of advantage they could use to try to get a turn in. And they're only a few gems ahead, right? Like, BlossoM could certainly get the double turn in. Oh man, Tommy. Is he gonna die? That was close. That was really close.
He's a ninja.
But
died to camps.
They're taking this camp to try to relieve the pressure to allow them to get into a place where they can turn in, but not only did BlossoM scout this out super early, they took their own camp and turned in the majority of their gems. So BlossoM wins this exchange in every regard. So they got even caps, so the caps are neutral, they clear in mid, and they got the turn in. So they are so close now to that level 10. In fact, they win the camp battle as well, it looks like here.
In terms of mobility, because there is double support that gives shield instantly, kind of like burst heal coming out, which is fast start. And Miracle does, maybe they just thought we can't really push out in lane, so we do need the power of camp to push out. But that's not even working. The camp did nothing. They lost the fort. So they spent that much time to basically just let BlossoM have free turn-in. And was that the right choice? I don't think so. I think they could have actually focused a lot more using some Brightwing polymorph to trying to get some gank in one of the lanes here.
Yeah,
maybe that could have been a better choice.
I mean, this is going to be the turn-in. Oh, Mora's just one short. So my bad. Soon to be the turn-in. Just need no chat to go toss that gem in. With level 10s up here, it's impossible to try to contest. Will be Wrath of the Berserker. Not going to see any crazy falling sword onto any craters from leaps coming through. Nothing like that. Not in Korea here. Not going to happen. Would have been fun, but it is Emerald Wind as you predicted, coming out for Brightwing.
Well, let's see. I think Tracer can just hold into the Pulse Bomb until the Emerald Wind is basically used, and then just dive in with the Blink after. Of course, when Sonya dives in, that will be very effective.
So, double Web Weaver is always a bad thing. It's always what, it's any, Tomb of the Spider Queen player's nightmare, because you have to deal with, already after losing your structures, potentially losing all 3 forts, which gives your opponent level 13 before you.
And this isn't the biggest push. The big push is actually the bottom lane. Sonya actually committed all the way in. I think they're looking for the fort. Sonya and Johanna does have the wave clear, plus a very strong damage overall. And there was no one defending this bottom one.
Yeah, so they not only they lose some experience from not defending this, but they also will lose a little bit of their keep wall with the wave clear, as you were mentioning. Like, this is going to work on the keep wall quite nicely, and BlossoM can actually rotate down as well to threaten this further. Looks like they just want to have Mouth. They'll clear this. So BlossoM is coming up mid, just clearing. They're playing this very safely, actually. Not really overextending, not really trying to greedily damage that keep wall or try to dive this fort. They're just going where Miracle isn't to maximize the value of each wave.
Now MVP is holding 95. 95, they need to come in. This is a great time before 13. I think there's a small window, small chance they can actually make it happen. The Brightwing needs to come in at the perfect time, and they would need to land on lots of focusing onto perfect target. But Ancestral from Mora can cancel all that, so they need to burst down a target from the beginning of the fight.
It feels like Miracle just doesn't have enough wave clear. You know what I mean? Like, look at the side of BlossoM. Give me one hero that doesn't have good wave clear on that. Okay, it's Tracer. But the other ones are incredible wave clear. We're looking at Rhaegar, Sonya, Johanna, Tassadar. So Miracle's always back, always trying to run around, clear the waves, clean up the mess that BlossoM is making, which means BlossoM's always getting free turn-ins. They're getting this experience at a very quick rate. And they just rotate through these lanes as 4, basically, while Sonya sits in the soul lane, and they just kill minions and turn in gems. It's systematic the way they're playing. There's 0 kills in this game at sub 10 minutes because they are just pushing the waves through. They always have a vision advantage. And Miracle doesn't have a comp that can punish these types of rotations. The polymorph ganks have failed that we've tried. They've tried 2 of them. And BlossoM is just threatening pulse bombs with Tracer and clearing waves, clearing minions. Sorry, clearing camps in this case with Sonya because she's at the bottom lane. And that's why the solo lane is flipped for BlossoM this way, because Sonya can clear the camp. Malthel cannot.
Even when they are pushing in, they have pushed it already. And this is not going to land onto Johanna. That was well tried if they can get the turn in, but let's see if they can.
Okay, looks like they will actually get this turn in. This is a little bit absurd. A triple turn in here. Miracle is in big trouble, G-Clef. I mean, this could be, like, I'm not even kidding. This could be a deathless game if this continues.
There may be one near the core.
Yeah.
And that core is very likely going to be MVP Miracles. We'll see another set of Weavers coming in. Miracle, gladly, good for them. They hit 13 right before, so there is a window of contesting. But it takes a long time, and Genji now has to force bottom because last time Sonya was coming to the bottom, they could not really deal with that one.
Yeah. Now this is going to go to the keep wall here in mid. Because no one is dealing with the bot one right now, it's just going to push through with its little ability, that little wavy, spidery thing that does a lot of damage. And that's going to allow it to clear bot, so when it gets to the keep wall bot, it's going to be very healthy. Look at BlossoM, man. They are not taking any risks. Not a single one. They're just going to leave. Could they have tried to win the fight here? Possibly win it and then get the keep? Sure. Could they have tried to more greedily push the bottom one? Sure. But why take one single risk when you could just play safe and keep winning with your wave clear that is vastly superior to Miracle? While they clean bot, you get a fort, you get closer to 16. Okay, this is their riskiest moment right now. Let's see. Here comes the polymorph potential. Jan's going to toss it in.
Get a kill onto Mora, for sure. And that may just be it, as Zutu will just blink away now.
So that was their greediest moment, and they were finally punished. Miracle can't get a turn in now. I don't think they ever get one. Shield Guy's going to deny once, but it's on cooldown now.
even after turning this in, they still have like 110. So they can actually have back-to-back turn-in. But if they drop any of those, that will be insane. Miracle has a good way of coming back if they can just get these picks like that, which they should have been looking for since minute 2, I think.
Yeah. Well, they finally got punished. They got the punish play because BlossoM did overextend one time, and I feel like the early game they played so perfect there was almost nothing Miracle could do. And finally, when they make one mistake, capitalization is there. By the way, Gondar's had his regen master completed for quite some time, so his regen is pretty insane, and his extra health is there. I believe is removed on the live patch currently.
I guess it's kind of worth it because Dudu took untouchable, and they have no kills, and so so basically Tracer cannot get the stack, but they will go diving in as BlossoM is dropped onto Paul. Perfect palm there.
Okay, Blessed Shield was dropped out though. Dragon Blade is out here. Really good condemn into the Side Storm, but here comes that Tormented Souls. No Teriel on the side of BlossoM, but the Ancestral is good. They wait it out, and they back off here. Nobody dies again on the side of BlossoM. It looks like all Miracle will get are the fort walls and the bot fort. But that puts them ahead in experience because of how this map works. It's actually kind of silly, but like that's how it works. They lost all their forts, but they're now
all intended.
Yeah, now they're going to get 21st possibly, which is kind of funny.
Duty, no palm available, so he has to make an escape. Maybe they want to turn this around as Sonya just Whirlwind does miss the spear.
Okay, almost a pulse bomb. Dude is building towards it. He's at 90%. We'll have one in just a moment. Wants to hit Dami, but Sniper in perfect position. I don't think it will happen. It could actually. He got it! Oh my god!
Get it onto Swift striking Genji.
Oh my god!
That's a stack now.
That's a stack. That's a fat stack. Oh man, I cannot believe that actually happened. Sniper's positioning was so good. The second he moved away, dude was like, well, here's a pulse bomb right on the back of your head. That's a kill, that's a boss, and that is going to be potentially another keep. The fort up here on the top is basically already dead. Looks like Miracle's going to counter this with a turn-in. Not much else they could do at this moment. They realized the boss was taken, but without their only real main DPS, considering Tormented Souls is still on cooldown, they couldn't possibly contest.
Genji getting pulse bomb. That's not what we see every day, even with so many Tracers in Korea. That must not felt good on Dami, but once Genji gets kills, and once he can get all those E resets, I think he can get to a lot more. BlossoM still has to be careful because Miracle is holding in so many gems even after this turn-in. So,
yeah, I mean, as you say, I think they're at like 45 right now or something like that. They were at 33 before the boss, so they could even be up at 50. So they're very close.
Well,
Miracle don't do anything. Yeah.
So a lot more than 60, I would
oh,
guess.
So I thought you were talking about BlossoM, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Miracle definitely has enough for like 7 more turn-ins at this moment in time. But yeah, okay.
See, there's
recall.
Shield is just enough to blink away.
Good side storms here in the choke points. Gondar's going to eat that Ancestral early here. Does not have Indestructible yet. They have not reached 20.
Also had to use the shield there now.
Tormented Souls coming through, but just not really getting enough done here. Dragon Blade again looks futile. And this Miracle comp just isn't able to break through the mobile and mobile composition and very safe play from BlossoM. Okay, let's see if Dudu can make me scream again. Here we go. Teleport comes through. Dami's up in the front lines here, trying to find that pick onto Mora. Polymorph comes through, but Sniper is so low. Crazy Moving misses the palm, accidentally palms himself. That's no good. Pulse Bomb connects. That's a dead Malthael. This could be the fight and the game. Dudu has that Pulse Bomb building, doesn't have it yet, so Crazy Moving lives.
The pig body block was real. I could not escape that. This could be a keep, and maybe the game if they go all the way in.
All right, well, that's going to be game. You have to think. Keep going to go down here. Already somewhat damaged was the wall from the boss earlier. No heroics.
Delay.
Now, no heroics for Miracle here. I don't think they can stop this. Pulse Bomb whiffs onto Crazy Moving, so he lives once more, but They just don't have enough damage. Their damage is only really in Dragon Blade and Tormented Souls. There's no way they could delay this. Not even the core is going to help out here. And that's going to be the win here for game number 1 to BlossoM, who played one of their safest games we have ever seen. Dominated the map through wave clear, never overextending, with minus that one time where they did overextend and lose Mora, but otherwise never overextending. And wave clear rules the day. And in team fights, they played so safely, so passively. Not even great Tormented Soul placement was not enough.
Their Miracle's Brightwing pick, was it really worth it to pick that? To pick it against the Tracer, to have the poly against Sonya coming in, or Tracer trying to have that pulse bomb onto their target. It didn't really make have too much power in that game. Even the gank potential. If you have a Brightwing, you should at least try to get some ganks, or at least take advantage of the teleport and just win the lane matchup at least.
Yeah, I guess I have to start calling this like Swoy's Law or something, but he said in an interview in Super League once when he was the MVP that if you play Brightwing, you have to get 2 picks within the first 10 minutes or the hero pick is meaningless. And that was in a different meta, obviously, where Brightwing was the global hero, was the solo laner, but they tried to get those Brightwing picks with the polymorphs coming through, but BlossoM just played so safely. And I feel like Brightwing doesn't really function in this meta anymore. She doesn't do too much for Genji. She can do a lot for the Tormented Souls, but the Emerald Winds weren't used that way. And BlossoM just played too safely. I don't think it was a bad pick necessarily, but they just couldn't get any value out of it in the early game.
I thought they were trying to be super creative, and maybe they were trying to, and just teleport onto Genji, and when Genji just use the E onto the other side, and the Emerald Wind actually will trap them from the other side, so they cannot escape. So they have to be forced into a team fight. That's also an option that I was thinking at the moment. Seemed like they could not really pull that off, or was not actually thinking of that at all.
I just thought about something else with the Johanna pick. Johanna, of course, does have her own kind of self-cleanse, so that meant that Rhaegar could be focusing his cleanses onto Tracer every time. So Arthas trying to get those roots to try to lock her in place just wasn't successful because, they had more cleanses available because Johanna never really needed them. That's just another interesting thought about why the Johanna might have been picked over the ETC, who could possibly have been killed by roots and things like that Johanna would have escaped from.